The ship moved silently through deep space, its metal hull gleaming under distant stars. The Zarthian colony vessel carried the last hope for a dying species, and now that hope had been renewed, thanks to an unlikely hero. Samantha woke slowly, her eyes adjusting to the strange purple light of the alien recovery chamber. Her muscles ached from the 17-hour ordeal, but a sense of accomplishment washed over her as memories returned. The eggs, the hatching, the queen, a soft clicking sound, drew her attention to the doorway where Lisa the Zarthian queen waited, her tall form nearly touching the ceiling. Her exoskeleton shimmered with complex patterns that Samantha was learning to recognize as expressions of emotion. "You have rested?" "Well," Lisa asked her translator, converting the clicks and whistles into English. Samantha sat up, stretching her sore limbs. "Yes, thank you. How are the hatchlings?" "They thrive beyond our expectations," the queen responded, moving closer. Her mandibles clicked, in what Samantha now recognized as their version of a smile. "They ask for you." This surprised Samantha. "They can communicate already." Lisa tilted her head in the Zarthian gesture of affirmation. "Not with words, but with pheromones and neural patterns. They recognize your biorhythm. They sense the one who guarded them." Samantha felt a strange warmth spread through her chest. "I'd like to see them too, if that's allowed." Aloud, Lisa repeated the word as if testing its meaning. "It is necessary." The medical team has noted unusual development patterns. They believe you have become imprinted in their neural pathways. Your presence seems to accelerate their cognitive growth. The queen led Samantha through the winding corridors of the ship. Other Zarthians stopped and stared as they passed some making gestures that the translator identified as signs of deep respect. Samantha noticed the crew treated her differently now, with a deference previously reserved only for their queen. They arrived at the hatchling chamber, a warm, humid room filled with soft nesting materials. The 43 Zarthian infants, each about the size of a human hand, scurried about on their 6 limbs. Their exoskeletons were still soft and pale, lacking the vibrant colors of the adults, but their eyes were bright and alert. The moment Samantha entered the chamber, the hatchlings froze. Then, as one, they rushed toward her. Their tiny limbs carried them with surprising speed across the chamber floor. They surrounded her, some climbing onto her legs, others releasing happy pheromones that made the air sweet and thick. "Our scientists are puzzled," Lisa explained, watching the interaction. "The hatchlings show accelerated development, their neural pathways forming connections at twice the normal rate. They believe it is linked to your presence during the critical imprinting phase. Your voice, your touch, your scent. These things have become part of their collective memory." Samantha knelt, letting the tiny Zarthians explore. They touched her skin with delicate appendages, their compound eyes taking in every detail of her face. One brave hatchling climbed onto her shoulder and pressed its tiny mandibles against her ear, making soft clicking sounds almost like it was trying to mimic human speech. The lead scientist, Maya, approached her antennae, twitching with excitement. "We have never seen such behavior. They respond to you as they would to the queen, perhaps even more strongly. The neural scans show activity in regions typically dormant in hatchlings until much later development stages. What does this mean for them?" Samantha asked, gently stroking one of the hatchlings who had settled contentedly in her palm. Maya exchanged looks with Lisa before answering. "We believe they will develop hybrid cognitive abilities. They may understand humans in ways no Zarthian has before. Their brains are forming pathways that mimic human emotional processing. The implications are significant for future relations between our species." Lisa stepped forward, her tall form casting a shadow over the group. "These hatchlings will one day lead our colony, perhaps even return to reclaim our homeworld. They will carry your influence with them. Samantha of Earth, you have given us more than just saved lives. You have given us new perspective." Samantha felt overwhelmed by the responsibility implied in those words. "I only did what anyone would do." The Zarthian queen made a sound the translator could not interpret. Then she spoke. "Many species would have let us perish. Territorial disputes, resource competition. These are the usual relations between newly met species. Yet humans extend compassion even to those who offer nothing in return. It is not a trait commonly found among the stars. A small commotion at the entrance interrupted them. A human delegation had arrived, led by Captain Kate from the Earth vessel that had first encountered the Zarthians. Her expression was serious as she surveyed the scene. Samantha, the captain, called, her voice tight with concern. "We've been trying to reach you for hours. I'm sorry, I was recovering. The communication systems were down during the emergency." Kate stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Earth Command is concerned about your extended contact with the hatchlings. There's talk of protocol violations, potential contamination." Samantha felt the tiny Zarthian in her palm grip her finger more tightly, as if sensing her sudden tension. Contamination? These beings were dying. "I made a choice," Lisa moved between Samantha and the captain, her impressive height making the human officer step back. "The human saved my offspring." "When your superiors speak of contamination, do they refer to compassion as an infection, Captain?" Kate had the grace to look embarrassed. "It's not my personal view, but there are concerns about unintended consequences. Genetic transfer, unknown biological interactions." The diplomatic team wants Samantha to return to the human vessel for debriefing and medical evaluation. Hatchlings sensed the tension, their colors darkening with distress. They clustered more tightly around Samantha, some making distressed clicking sounds. Samantha shook her head. "I can't leave them yet. The imprinting process is still active. My departure could harm their development." Maya, the scientist, stepped forward with data readings. "The human speaks truth, Captain. These hatchlings have formed neural dependencies on her presence. Separation at this stage would cause severe developmental regression, potentially permanent damage." Kate looked from the scientist to the Queen, then to the hatchlings clinging to Samantha. "I'm not authorized to make this call. You'll need to consult with commandos." The captain stepped away to communicate with her superiors. Samantha turned to Lisa. "What happens now?" The Queen watched the human captain with compound eyes that revealed nothing of her thoughts. "Your people fear what they do not understand. It is a trait our species shares. Yet here we stand at the beginning of something new. These hatchlings will not fear humans. They will understand you in ways even I cannot." One of the bolder hatchlings climbed up Samantha's arm and touched her face with gentle appendages. Its compound eyes studied her with an intelligence that seemed beyond its few days of life. The tiny being made a sound almost like human laughter. "They are trying to speak," Maya said with wonder. "They mimic your vocalizations. Their speech organs are not designed for human language, yet they try." Samantha smiled at the tiny creature, feeling a connection that transcended species. "I think we're all trying to find new ways to communicate." Captain Kate returned, her expression unreadable. "Command has concerns, but they also recognize the diplomatic implications of forcing your return. They propose a compromise. You may remain with the hatchlings until they reach juvenile stage, but human medical staff must monitor you daily for any biological changes." Lisa clicked her approval. "The arrangement is acceptable. We welcome human medical observers. Our scientists can share data. This will benefit both species." The tension in the room eased as both sides reached agreement. Samantha felt the hatchlings relaxing, their colors brightening again. She gently stroked their soft exoskeletons, marveling at how quickly she had become attached to these alien beings. Later that cycle, as the ship's lights dimmed to simulate night, Samantha sat in the hatchling chamber surrounded by 43 sleeping Zarthian infants. They had refused to settle until she sang to them the same song she had used during the long night, guarding their eggs. Lisa joined her, moving silently despite her large size. "Our histories speak of ancient guardians, beings who watched over the vulnerable and guided their development. Your role follows this pattern, though no human has ever been part of our mythology before." Samantha watched the sleeping hatchlings, their tiny bodies glowing softly in the darkness. "They saved me too. You know, the Queen tilted her head questioningly. "I was drifting." Samantha explained, lost between research projects, between purposes. "They gave me something that mattered. You are a guardian now." Lisa said simply. The hatchlings have claimed you as their own. They will never truly leave you even when grown. The neural connection works both ways. Our scientists have detected changes in your brain patterns as well. Subtle, but present. The implications of this settled, slowly over Samantha. A permanent connection to an alien species, a bridge between two worlds. The responsibility was enormous yet strangely welcome. Tomorrow they would face more questions from both human and Zarthian authorities. There would be tests and observations, diplomatic meetings, and scientific studies, but for tonight in the quiet chamber surrounded by the soft glow of alien life, Samantha finally understood her purpose among the stars. Days turned to weeks aboard the Zarthian vessel as Samantha settled into her new role as guardian to the royal hatchlings. Each morning she woke to find tiny visitors already in her quarters, waiting impatiently for her to rise. They grew visibly, each day their pale exoskeletons gradually hardening and taking on the subtle color patterns that would one day identify them as unique individuals. The human medical team monitored Samantha closely. Dr. Olivia checked her vitals daily, scanning for
any biological changes that might result from prolonged exposure to Zarthian biochemistry. Your cellular activity shows some interesting adaptations. Olivia noted during one examination, your body is producing new proteins that seem to help metabolize
trace amounts of Zarthian pheromones. Nothing concerning but fascinating from a xenobiology perspective. Samantha wasn't surprised. Her body felt different, stronger, somehow more attuned to the subtle changes in light and atmosphere aboard the alien vessel. The hatchlings respond differently to me now, she explained. They seem to understand my emotions even before I speak. Olivia made notes on her tablet. This confirms our theory of a developing neural link. Remarkable. Really unprecedented. The diplomatic corps is having fits trying to determine what this means for future human-Zarthian relations. Relations between the two species had indeed grown complex since the hatching incident. Some humans viewed the connection between Samantha and the hatchlings as a scientific breakthrough, while others saw it as a potential security risk. The Zarthians, too, were divided, some embracing the new possibilities, while traditionalists worried about diluting their species' identity. Despite these tensions, Samantha found joy in watching the hatchlings develop. They grew at an astonishing rate, already reaching the size of human children. Their cognitive abilities expanded daily, now capable of simple speech in both Zarthian clicks and approximated English during a teaching session. Samantha sat surrounded by the young Zarthians, showing them images of Earth. The most advanced hatchling, Lily, named for the flower pattern on her exoskeleton, pointed at a picture of the ocean water big water lily, clicked her mandibles, forming the unfamiliar human words with surprising clarity. Yes. Samantha nodded, encouraging her. Oceans. We have many on Earth. Lily tilted her head in the Zarthian gesture of curiosity. Zarthia had oceans lost now, gone with homeworld. The tiny alien sounded wistful beyond her weeks of life memory from before. Samantha had learned that Zarthians possessed a form of genetic memory, ancestral knowledge passed down through generations. It explained how the hatchlings knew of their destroyed homeworld despite never having seen it. Another hatchling. Ruby touched the screen with delicate appendages. Why humans help Zarthians. Old memories say other species fear us, hunt us. The question hung in the air, simple yet profound. Samantha considered her answer carefully. Humans were curious creatures. She had volunteered for the cultural exchange program driven by scientific interest, but had stayed out of emotional connection. Something the Zarthian traditionalists struggled to understand. Some humans fear difference too, she explained. But others see beyond it. We recognize ourselves in you. Different bodies. Same feelings. Lily made a clicking sound of agreement. Samantha, emotions like queen emotions. Same but different bodies. The teaching session was interrupted when Lisa entered the chamber, her tall form commanding immediate attention from the hatchlings. They rushed to greet their queen, touching her limbs respectfully, but quickly returned to Samantha. Their behavior confirmed what the scientists had observed. The hatchlings recognized two authorities in their lives. The queen approached Samantha. The human captain. Kate requests your presence. The diplomatic team from Earth has arrived with new proposals. Samantha felt a flutter of apprehension. The Earth government had been sending increasingly high-ranking officials to observe her work with the hatchlings. Each visit brought new questions about the nature of the connection and its implications for interspecies relations. When she arrived at the meeting chamber, Samantha found Captain Kate with three unfamiliar officials. Their expressions ranged from curious to concerned. "Samantha, this is Ambassador Diane from Earth Central Government." Kate introduced them. "The ambassador has come to discuss your status." Diane stepped forward, a tall woman with sharp eyes that missed nothing. "I understand you've developed quite a bond with the alien offspring." Samantha nodded, feeling defensive already. "Yes, the imprinting process created a neural link. It's accelerated their development and provided invaluable insights for both species." The ambassador exchanged glances with her colleagues. "I see Earth Central is concerned about the extent of this bond. There are questions about where your loyalties might lie given the unprecedented nature of the connection." Samantha felt a flash of anger. "I'm still human if that's what you're asking. My work here benefits humanity as much as the Zarthians." This situation was not covered in any protocol. Diane continued. "The integration of a human into an alien royal lineage has significant diplomatic implications. Earth Central proposes bringing the hatchlings to our research facility for further study." "Absolutely not," Samantha responded, without hesitation. "These are not specimens. They are developing beings with their own culture and identity. Separating them from their queen would be traumatic, not to mention a violation of our treaty with the Zarthians." Ambassador Diane frowned. "The treaty didn't anticipate a human becoming essential to alien royal development. We're simply suggesting a more controlled environment for observation." "Controlled." Samantha repeated the word bitterly. "They need cultural context, not a laboratory. They need their queen and their people around them." Captain Kate intervened. "Perhaps we should include Queen Lisa in this discussion." When the Zarthian queen joined them, her towering presence seemed to fill the chamber. Her compound eyes surveyed the humans, her mandibles clicking in what Samantha now recognized as restrained anger, carefully controlled. "The human proposal is unacceptable," Lisa stated plainly. "The hatchlings remain with our colony. The Guardian remains with the hatchlings." "This was agreed, Ambassador." Diane attempted diplomacy. "We recognize the unusual circumstances, Your Highness. We simply wish to ensure proper scientific documentation in a controlled setting." Lisa moved closer to Samantha, a gesture not lost on the human officials. "The neural bond is sacred in our culture. To sever it would cause damage to both Guardian and hatchlings. Your science would destroy what it seeks to study." The tension in the room grew palpable. Samantha could sense the Queen preparing stronger arguments when an alarm sounded throughout the ship. Red lights flashed along the corridors. The ship's AI announced in multiple languages, "Emergency protocol activated, unknown vessel approaching defensive systems. Engaged." Captain Kate touched her communication device and paled at the information she received. "It's a Krax warship, heavily armed and not responding to hails." "The Krax." Lisa hissed the word, her exoskeleton darkening with emotion. "Ancient enemies of our people, they hunt us still." Samantha felt a chill of fear. "The hatchlings." She turned to Lisa. "I need to get to them." The Queen gestured agreement. "Go. The young must be protected. Captain Kate will help coordinate defense." Samantha raced through the corridors, her heart pounding. Fear gripped her, not for herself but for the 43 young Zarthians who had become her responsibility. She could sense their distress through the neural link, a rising panic that mirrored her own. When she reached the hatchling chamber, she found them huddled together, their colors muted with fear. Maya, the scientist, was attempting to move them to a safer location, but they refused to follow. Samantha, one of them called, spotting her. The tiny beings rushed toward her, surrounding her with clicking sounds. "Of relief, they won't evacuate," Maya explained frantically. "They demand their guardian." Samantha knelt among them, feeling their trembling bodies press against her. "We need to move somewhere safer." she told them calmly. The emergency shelters near the core lily. The most developed hatchling clicked her mandibles stubbornly. Cracks hunters want queen, want hatchlings, old enemy. How do you know about the cracks? Samantha asked, surprised. Memory. Lily touched her own head. Ancestors fought. Ancestors died. The ship shuddered as something struck its outer hull. The lights flickered and stabilized. Samantha made a quick decision, gathering the smallest hatchlings in her arms. Follow me now, she commanded, using the tone that Lisa used when giving royal orders. Stay together. 2. Her relief, the young Zarthians responded, moving as a coordinated group following her through the emergency corridors toward the core shelters. Maya led the way, while Samantha brought up the rear, ensuring none were left behind. She could feel their fear through the neural link, but also their trust. They reached the reinforced chamber deep within the ship, where other Zarthian young from non-royal broods were already gathered. The combined presence of nearly 100 alien offspring created a cacophony of clicking sounds and pheromone signals that made Samantha's head swim. The royal hatchlings refused to join the others, clustering tightly around her legs. No safe without Queen, Lily insisted. Where Queen Samantha realized with growing dread that Lisa would be at the command center coordinating the defense, not seeking shelter. The Queen would sacrifice herself before allowing harm to come to the colony, or the hatchlings, through the neural link. Samantha felt a new sensation. The hatchlings were sharing information with her, ancestral memories of Cracks attacks, visions of the fearsome predatory species with their armored bodies and hunting technologies. The corridors of the Zarthian ship vibrated with battle alarms as Samantha ran against the flow of crew members heading to safety. Her heart pounded, but determination drove her forward. The neural link with the hatchlings pulsed in her mind, a constant reminder of her responsibility. Another explosion rocked the ship, throwing Samantha against a wall. She recovered quickly, continuing her sprint toward the command center. Years of xenobiology, fieldwork had kept her in good physical condition, but the stress of the situation pushed her limits. She rounded a corner and collided with Captain Kate. The human officer grabbed her shoulders, steadying her. "What are you doing here?" Kate demanded. "The evacuation order includes all non-essential personnel. Going to the command center," Samantha replied, breathing hard. "The Queen is in danger. The Cracks hunt queens specifically." Kate shook her head. "It's too dangerous. The forward sections are taking heavy fire. Our security team is heading to extract Lisa." How Samantha felt a surge of frustration. "I need to help. I understand Zarthian communication better than any human. The Queen will listen to me." Before Kate could argue further, the ship lurched violently. Gravity fluctuated momentarily as damage control systems engaged. Emergency lights bathed the corridor in red. Warning messages echoed in multiple languages. Hull breach detected. Section 7. Level 3. Containment protocols activated. Kate checked her tactical display and cursed. The Cracks have breached the outer hull. Boarding parties detected. Her expression hardened. "Get to the safe room, Samantha." This is a military situation now. But Samantha stood her ground, feeling a strange, calm determination. "I can sense the Queen through the hatchlings. She's still in the command center, with other royal guards. The Cracks haven't reached her yet." Kate stared at her. "The neural link lets you track her location." Samantha nodded, not fully understanding it herself, but trusting the connection. "I can feel her general location and emotional state. She's afraid but resolute." The captain made a quick decision. "Fine, come with me, but stay behind our security team and follow orders." "Exactly." She handed Samantha a small communication device. "Clip this to your collar, emergency channel only." They moved through the ship, taking maintenance passages to avoid the main corridors where fighting had broken out. The human security team from Earth's vessel had joined forces with Zarthian defenders, creating a unified front against the Cracks invaders. Samantha caught glimpses of the attackers through observation panels. Their massive forms moved with surprising speed, despite heavy exoskeletons that seemed metallic rather than biological. Their weapons fired pulses of energy that left scorch marks on the ship's walls. The command center doors came into view, heavily guarded by both human and Zarthian forces. Captain Kate approached the security checkpoint, showing her identification. We need to evacuate Queen. Lisa, she told the guard commander, the cracks are specifically targeting royalty. The commander nodded grimly. We've received the same intelligence. 2 breaching parties are converging on this position. We're preparing to move the Queen to the secondary command center inside the command center. Samantha found Lisa standing tall amid the chaos, directing defense operations. Her exoskeleton glowed with stress patterns, but her voice remained calm as she issued orders. The Queen spotted Samantha immediately. "Why have you left the hatchlings?" she demanded. "They're safe in the core shelter with Maya," Samantha explained quickly. "But they're distressed. They sense you're in danger." The cracks Lisa's antennae twitched with emotion. The ancient enemy. They have hunted us across 3 star systems. Her compound eyes surveyed the tactical displays showing the invaders' progress through the ship. "My guards will ensure my safety. Return to the young ones. They need their guardian captain." Kate interrupted. "My team has secured a path to the secondary command center. Your Highness, we need to move now." A violent explosion rocked the room, knocking several crew members off their feet. The main display flickered, showing multiple hull breaches. The cracks were moving faster than anticipated, their technology clearly superior to the colony ship's defenses. Samantha felt a surge of panic through the neural link. The hatchlings sensed the increasing danger. Their fear threatened to overwhelm her, but she pushed it aside, focusing on the immediate threat. "Lisa, we need to go now," she urged. "The hatchlings are sharing ancestral memories. The cracks will not stop until they find you." The Queen hesitated, torn between her duty as leader and her instinct for survival. Another explosion closer this time made the decision for her. The emergency doors began to seal automatically as the section's integrity became compromised. The evacuation team moved swiftly, guiding Lisa toward the secondary command center. Captain Kate led the way with human security forces while Zarthian guards protected the rear. The group moved through narrow maintenance tunnels, avoiding the main corridors, where fighting continued. Samantha stayed close to Lisa, feeling the neural link strengthen. In the Queen's presence, the hatchlings' fear subsided slightly, sensing their 2 guardians together. Again, Samantha marveled at the connection that had formed between them, a bridge between species that transcended biology. They had nearly reached the secondary command center when disaster struck. A section of ceiling collapsed as a crack's breaching pod drilled through from above. Massive armored forms dropped into the corridor, cutting off their escape route. The security team reacted instantly, forming a protective circle around Lisa and Samantha. Their weapons seemed ineffective against the cracks' armor, the energy pulses dissipating harmlessly. The cracks advanced methodically, their own weapons, cutting through the human and Zarthian defenders with terrifying efficiency. Lisa pushed Samantha behind her. "A queen protects," she clicked her mandibles, forming the words both in Zarthian and broken English. But Samantha remembered the ancestral memories the hatchlings had shared with her. The cracks didn't just hunt queens, they collected them. Using specialized containment fields, they would capture Zarthian royalty alive, keeping them as trophies and leverage against remaining colonies. She reached for Captain Kate's sidearm, surprising the officer. By taking it before she could protest, Samantha had never fired a weapon before, but desperation drove her. She aimed at the ceiling above the cracks, not at the invaders themselves. The energy pulse hit an exposed power conduit, creating a cascade of electrical discharges. The ceiling collapsed further, separating the cracks from their group. Lisa understood immediately, pulling Samantha toward a maintenance shaft, while the remaining security team provided cover. They crawled through the narrow space, the sounds of battle fading behind them. Lisa led the way, her knowledge of the ship's layout guiding them toward safety. Samantha followed, feeling the neural link pulse with relief from the distant hatchlings. When they emerged in a quiet section of the ship, Lisa turned to Samantha. "How did you know to target the power conduit?" Samantha touched her temple. "The hatchlings showed me ancestral memories of cracks' tactics." The ceiling collapse was a memory from a previous encounter. Lisa's compound eyes studied her with new understanding. The bond grows stronger than anticipated. The collective memory now flows both ways. A transmission from Captain Kate interrupted them. "We've regrouped at Junction 12. The path to secondary command is clear, but we've detected crack signatures converging on your position." They're tracking the Queen's pheromone signature. Lisa clicked in frustration. My biochemistry betrays me. The Queen's unique pheromones designed to guide and unite the colony now served as a beacon for their hunters. Samantha had an idea from her xenobiology training. The cracks track by scent signature right. Could we mask it somehow? The Queen considered this. Our scientists developed pheromone suppressors for covert operations, but none are accessible from this section. Then we need an alternative, Samantha thought quickly. Her mind racing through possibilities. I have human biochemistry. Could we use that? The plan formed rapidly as they moved through the ship's maintenance tunnels. Lisa explained that Zarthian royal pheromones had specific molecular structures that Crack's hunters were programmed to detect. Human biochemistry was entirely different, confusing to Crack's sensory systems. They reached a small medical station where Samantha found basic supplies. She quickly created a mixture of antiseptic solutions and her own sweat, applying it to Lisa's exoskeleton. The Queen remained still during the process, her trust in the human guardian complete. The pheromone masking might buy us time, Lisa explained, but the Cracks will eventually adapt. Their hunting programming evolves rapidly. A transmission from the human vessel brought unexpected news. Captain Kate's voice sounded strained but hopeful. Reinforcements have arrived. A Galactic Confederation patrol responded to our distress call. 3 combat vessels have engaged the Crack ship. The tide of battle began to shift. The Crack's boarding parties, cut off from their main vessel, fought with increasing desperation. Their programming prioritized capturing a queen above all else, even their own survival. Samantha and Lisa moved carefully through the ship, avoiding confrontation when possible. The pheromone masking worked well enough to prevent immediate detection, but they knew it was temporary. The Cracks would adapt their tracking methods. They were 2 sections away from the secondary command center when they encountered a lone Cracks hunter. Its massive form blocked the corridor sensors, scanning methodically for Zarthian royal signatures. Lisa froze her body completely still. Samantha stepped forward, placing herself between the Queen and the hunter. Her heart pounded, but she forced herself to remain calm. The days following the Cracks' attack transformed life aboard the colony ship. The Galactic Confederation maintained a protective escort as repairs continued. Engineers worked tirelessly to strengthen the damaged hull, while medical teams treated the injured from both species. The shared danger had united humans and Zarthians in ways diplomatic meetings never could. Samantha stood before the Confederation representatives in the ship's newly restored meeting chamber. Lisa towered beside her. Their shared experience during the attack having forged a bond that transcended their biological differences. Captain Kate and Ambassador Diane completed the gathering, representing Earth Interests Confederation envoy. Mira studied them with 6 eyes that shifted color with her thoughts. Her species, the Elduran, were known for their diplomatic skills and telepathic sensitivity. This bond you share, she began addressing both Samantha and Lisa. Our sensors detect neural patterns previously undocumented in cross-species interaction. The implications are significant. Ambassador. Diane leaned forward. The Earth government wishes to understand the full extent of this connection. Does it pose any risk to human autonomy? Samantha felt a flicker of irritation at the implication. I'm still myself, Ambassador. My thoughts and choices remain my own. The neural link allows shared information, not control. Lisa clicked her mandibles in agreement. The Guardian speaks truth. The bond enhances communication, but preserves individual identity. It is similar to our ancestral memory system, but operates across species boundaries, envoy. Mira raised a hand for silence. Regardless of its nature, this development has attracted attention throughout the sector. The Zarthian royal, brood-carrying human neural imprints. The first documented case of cross-species memory transference. The Confederation Council requests your presence at Central Station for formal documentation and recognition. Ambassador Diane frowned. This seems premature. The Earth government requires more extensive study before, but Captain Kate interrupted. Perhaps this is an opportunity, Ambassador. A human representative at the Confederation Council during these proceedings would serve Earth interests. The political maneuvering continued around them, but Samantha's thoughts were with the hatchlings. Through the neural link, she sensed their growing awareness and curiosity. They had begun asking about the wider galaxy, eager to learn beyond their ship later. In the hatchling chamber, Samantha found the young Zarthians engaged in a new activity. They had arranged themselves in a circle, sharing memories and knowledge in the traditional Zarthian teaching pattern, but they had modified it, incorporating human elements, drawing pictures, and using verbal communication alongside pheromone signals. Lily, now nearly as tall as Samantha's waist, approached her guardian. "We learn Guardian Way and Queen Way," she explained, pointing to their work. "Mixed, better, stronger." Samantha examined their creations, amazed at their progress. The royal brood was developing a unique culture, blending the best elements of both species. The neural link had given them access to human creativity and emotional processing while maintaining their Zarthian collective memory and unity. The queen joined them, moving with the graceful dignity that characterized her species. Her compound eyes took in the scene with evident pride. "Our scientists report the hatchlings' cognitive development has exceeded all known parameters. Their problem-solving abilities, particularly in areas requiring emotional intelligence, show remarkable advancement." Samantha watched as Ruby, one of the smaller hatchlings, constructed an intricate model of the solar system. They were visiting next. The tiny being used both traditional Zarthian mathematical principles and human artistic expression, creating something neither species would have designed alone. Lisa gestured toward the creation. "This represents the future Samantha. A new perspective born of both worlds. The Confederation recognizes its significance. They believe this royal brood may one day bridge understanding between many species, not just our two." The implications were both exciting and frightening. Samantha had come aboard as a xenobiologist seeking knowledge. Now she found herself the guardian of a generation that might reshape galactic relations. "What happens when we reach Central Station?" she asked the hatchlings. "Have never been exposed to so many different species. The sensory input alone could be overwhelming." The queen clicked thoughtfully. "The Confederation has prepared appropriate accommodations. They understand the sensitivity of young royals. However, the neural link provides a stabilizing influence. Your presence helps filter and process new experiences, Maya." The scientist entered the chamber carrying data tablets. Her antennae twitched with excitement as she approached. "I have completed the latest neural mapping. The results confirm our theory. The human guardian now carries approximately 12% of Zarthian ancestral memory, accessible primarily through emotional triggers, while the hatchlings display human neural pathways that comprise nearly 20% of their cognitive processing." Lisa took the data, reviewing it with intense concentration. "This development exceeds all predictions. The exchange is bidirectional and accelerating." "What does that mean for me?" Samantha asked, feeling a flutter of concern. Maya clicked her mandibles in what had become her characteristic gesture of scientific fascination. "Your brain has physically adapted, creating new neural pathways to accommodate Zarthian memory patterns. The process appears stable and controlled, but unprecedented. You are becoming a true hybrid consciousness while remaining physically human." The information should have frightened her, but Samantha felt only curiosity and acceptance. The changes had come so gradually, through her connection with the hatchlings, that they seemed natural, a gift rather than an invasion. Ambassador Diane appeared at the chamber entrance, her expression serious. "Samantha, the Earth delegation needs to speak with you privately, in a quiet meeting room." The ambassador laid out Earth's concerns without diplomatic cushioning. "Central Command is worried, Samantha. You've developed biological and neural changes that our scientists don't fully understand. There are questions about your loyalty, whether these changes might compromise Earth security." Samantha sat straight, her anger flashing through her. "I've served Earth faithfully throughout this mission. My work has opened unprecedented diplomatic channels with both the Zarthians and now the Confederation." The ambassador's expression softened slightly. I believe you, but others question whether you're still fully human. Your DNA shows subtle alterations. Your brain scans reveal patterns never before documented. Central Command has ordered a full medical evaluation when we reach Central Station, with the possibility of requiring your return to Earth. The threat hung in the air. Separation from the hatchlings from her charges. The very thought sent pain through the neural link. The young one, sensing her distress, responded with waves of comfort and determination. Their collective emotion steadied her. Captain Kate, who had remained silent, spoke up. The royal brood would suffer significant trauma if separated from their guardian. The diplomatic consequences would be severe. Ambassador, I recommend we consider alternatives. Diane sighed heavily. Central Command fears we're losing you, Samantha. That you're becoming more Zarthian than human. That your primary allegiance now lies with the royal brood. Samantha considered her words carefully, understanding the real concerns behind the political language. I am still human, Ambassador. My physiology remains primarily unchanged, but I have gained something valuable. Through this connection, I understand the Zarthians in ways no human ever has. I see the universe through compound eyes while retaining my human perspective, and that's exactly what we hoped for when we initiated first contact, to truly understand other sentient beings. Kate nodded agreement. She has a point. The cultural exchange program was designed to bridge understanding. Samantha has achieved that beyond our wildest expectations, but the ambassador remained troubled. There are limits to how far that exchange should go. Genetic and neural changes cross a line our scientists never anticipated. As if summoned by the tension, Lisa appeared in the doorway, her tall form commanding immediate attention. Forgive the interruption, but the hatchlings are requesting their guardian. Their developmental cycle requires synchronization. Ambassador Diane gestured dismissal. We're still discussing critical matters, Your Highness. The Queen moved into the room with surprising grace for her size. My scientists inform me that prolonged separation during this phase could damage both the guardian and the young ones. The neural pathways are still stabilizing. Samantha felt the pull of the link growing stronger. The hatchlings needed her not just emotionally, but biologically. Their shared neural patterns required regular reinforcement during these crucial developmental stages. I need to go to them, she said, rising. Diane, we can continue this discussion later. The ambassador started to object, but Captain Kate intervened. Let her go. The diplomatic conference at Central Station will address these concerns more thoroughly with Confederation experts present. When Samantha entered the hatchling chamber, the young Zarthians surrounded her immediately, their colors brightening. With relief, Lily, the most developed, pressed her head against Samantha's hand, initiating direct neural contact. Humans want to take Guardian away. The hatchling communicated not with words but with concepts and emotions. The collective memory of the brood showed they had been monitoring the conversation through their link, sensing Samantha's distress. We stay together, Lily insisted. We belong together now. Central Station hung in space like a massive jewel, its crystalline structures catching starlight and refracting it in dazzling patterns. The Confederation outpost served as neutral territory for hundreds of species, a place where galactic diplomacy flourished amid cultural exchange. The Zarthian colony ship approached, slowly escorted by Confederation vessels, its damaged hull still bearing scars from the Crack's attack. Samantha stood on the observation deck, with the royal hatchlings watching their approach. The young Zarthians pressed against the viewing panels, their compound eyes taking in the spectacular sight with wonder. Through the neural link, Samantha felt their excitement and apprehension. They had never left the colony ship before Central Station represented their first step into the wider universe. Lisa joined them, her tall form casting a shadow over the group. The Confederation Council awaits our arrival, she explained. The presentation of a royal brood is considered a significant event. Our species has not participated in such a ceremony since before the destruction of our homeworld. Lily, the most advanced hatchling, turned to the Queen. We are different brood, she clicked. Not only Zarthian, also human thoughts. This makes some elders worried. The Queen touched the young one gently with her front limbs. Change always brings concern, but your generation carries hope for our future. Your dual perspective may help us reclaim our place among the stars. The ship docked with practiced precision. Despite the battle damage, the Zarthian crew performed the complex maneuvers flawlessly. A delegation of Confederation officials waited in the arrival chamber, their diverse forms representing at least 7 different species. Ambassador Diane and Captain Kate stood among them, ensuring human representation. The moment had come. The royal brood would make their first public appearance. The 43 young Zarthians arranged themselves in traditional formation, behind Lisa and Samantha, who would lead them together. Guardian and Queen united in purpose. As the airlock cycled open, Samantha felt a wave of emotion from the hatchlings. Fear, excitement, determination, pride. The neural link vibrated with their collective, feelings steadied by her human presence. She reached back, touching Lily briefly, sending reassurance through the connection. The Confederation representatives stepped forward, led by High Counselor Vex, a being of shifting light patterns contained within an environment suit. Unlike most species present, Vex communicated through color and luminosity, requiring translation devices for verbal interaction. We welcome the Zarthian royal brood to Central Station. The translator rendered the counselors greeting, the light patterns suggesting formal respect and curiosity. This historic moment marks the first presentation of new Zarthian royalty since your people's tragedy. Lisa performed the traditional greeting, her antennae dipping in acknowledgement. We bring forth the future of our species, counselor. The royal brood who will one day lead our colony in reclaiming our heritage. High Counselor Vex shifted closer, light patterns pulsing with interest. Our sensors detect the unique neural patterns. We were informed about the human-guardian bond is evident even to our limited technology. Most fascinating. Samantha stepped forward, feeling suddenly self-conscious as attention turned to her. The bond was unexpected, she explained, but it has proven beneficial to both species. The royal brood develops with dual perspective, maintaining Zarthian collective thinking while gaining human emotional processing. The counselor's light patterns rippled with what the translator identified as scientific excitement. A demonstration, perhaps, to satisfy curiosity. Lisa clicked her approval, and the hatchlings moved forward. Lily took the lead. Approaching the light being without hesitation, she extended a delicate limb and spoke using both Zarthian clicks and human speech. I greet you with voices of 2 worlds, respected counselor. Her compound eyes shifted color in a pattern matching Vex's own communication style, a skill she had developed through the neural link with Samantha. The counselor's light patterns flashed rapidly. The translator struggled to keep pace. Extraordinary. The young one communicates in multiple modalities simultaneously. She perceives my communication patterns and mirrors them, a skill requiring both Zarthian collective processing and human intuitive leaps. The other Confederation representatives murmured in amazement. Ambassador Diane stepped forward, her expression one of pride. This development represents the true potential of the cultural exchange program. Earth, implemented with the Zarthian colony. What followed was a formal reception where the royal brood demonstrated their unique abilities. They navigated complex diplomatic protocols with remarkable ease, switching communication methods to accommodate each species they encountered through it all. Samantha remained connected to them through the neural link, providing stability and guidance when needed. Later, in the private quarters assigned to the Zarthian delegation, Samantha helped the exhausted hatchlings settle for rest. The young ones had performed brilliantly, but the experience had drained their energy reserves. They curled together in the specialized nesting materials. The Confederation had provided their forms glowing softly in the dimmed light. Lily remained awake longer than the others. Her compound eyes studying Samantha Guardian, she clicked softly. Council members afraid of us. Some hide it well, but fear exists in their patterns. Why? Samantha sat beside the young Zarthian, sensing the deep question behind the simple words. Difference often causes fear. Lily. Even among humans, we fear what we don't understand. Your brood represents something entirely new. neither fully Zarthian nor human, but something evolving beyond, both that creates uncertainty. The hatchling processed this, her exoskeleton shifting patterns as she thought, "We are bridge species. Not threat. Bridge." She touched Samantha's hand, initiating deeper neural contact, sharing a vision of the royal brood, grown to adulthood serving as intermediaries between diverse species throughout the galaxy. The image was so vivid, so fully formed, that Samantha gasped. It wasn't merely wishful thinking, but a possible future the hatchlings had collectively envisioned, their dual nature giving them unique insights into both collective and individual species perspective. "You see far," Samantha whispered, impressed by the depth of the young one's thinking. Lily clicked with a sound that approximated human laughter. "We see with many eyes, guardian Zarthian eyes, human eyes. Together vision becomes clear." When the hatchling finally slept, Samantha found Lisa waiting outside the chamber. The Queen had observed the interaction, her own compound eyes missing nothing. "You share their vision now," she stated. "The future they create for themselves." Samantha nodded, still processing the powerful imagery. "The neural link allows me to see their potential. Their unique perspective could change how species interact throughout the galaxy. They don't just think differently, they perceive reality differently." Lisa moved to the observation window, looking out at the vast Confederation station spread before them. "The Zarthian people have lost much, our homeworld, our position in galactic politics, our future seemed uncertain." She turned back to Samantha. "But perhaps in that loss we found something unexpected. A new path forward through this bond with humanity." Ambassador Diane approached, having overheard their conversation. "The Confederation Council is impressed," she reported. "They have granted the Zarthian colony protected status with full diplomatic recognition. The royal brood will receive special educational consideration as a unique cultural asset." Lisa clicked, her mandibles in satisfaction. "This ensures our people's survival." A new beginning, but the ambassador wasn't finished. "There is more. The Council has proposed establishing a new diplomatic classification, interspecies liaison with neural bond verification. The position would be offered to Samantha as the first of her kind." Samantha felt momentarily overwhelmed. The implications were enormous. She had come aboard the Zarthian vessel as a xenobiologist seeking knowledge. Now she stood at the threshold of becoming something unprecedented in galactic diplomacy, a human who could truly understand alien perspective through direct neural connection. Captain Kate joined them, her expression serious. "You should know that Earth Central remains concerned. They fear losing you completely to the Zarthian collective. They worry the neural changes might eventually overwhelm your human identity. It's a valid concern." Samantha acknowledged. "The bond grows stronger each day. But it doesn't diminish my humanity. It expands it. I still think and feel as a human, but with additional perspective." The hatchlings experienced something similar. They remained Zarthian while incorporating human emotional processing. The next morning brought formal proceedings in the Confederation Council chamber. Representatives from dozens of species filled the tiered seating with Earth and Zarthian delegations given prominent positions. The royal brood entered with perfect discipline, arranging themselves in a modified pattern that honored both Zarthian tradition and human diplomatic protocols. High Counselor Vex began the session, light patterns pulsing with formal rhythm. "We gather to witness unprecedented development in interspecies relations. The Zarthian royal brood, carrying neural imprints of humanity. The human guardian carrying Zarthian ancestral memory. Both transformed yet maintaining core identity. The Council has reviewed extensive data on this neural bond." The translator continued. "Our scientists confirm its stability and mutual benefit. The exchange of perspective without loss of original consciousness represents evolution in galactic diplomacy.